Welcome to The X-Files, a podcast about breakups, broken hearts, and moving on. I'm Claire.
And I'm Janice. We are here to help you beat your breakup,
Heal your broken heart,
and move on to an amazing, abundant life. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of X-Files. We hope that you're all having a good holiday season so far and that you are excited to talk about self-care.
Because we certainly are.
Yes. It's something that I am definitely passionate about and excited to share. But first, we want to invite you to ask us anything. What are you curious to know about the X-Files gals? We are going to be doing a special holiday getting to know you episode and would love for you to be a part of it. So, do you have a question for either of us about our background, our breakups, our interests, how we got started with breakup coaching? Please send us your interview questions via our IG, and we will do our best to answer them.
Yeah. I know in sessions, my clients always have like really good questions about my personal experiences. So I know you guys are thinking it. So this is your time to ask us, and we'll be doing an episode just like getting to know us, because we haven't done that before, and I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily breakup questions, it's questions about Claire and myself. So send them through. We're going to do a special holiday episode. And like we always say, we like you to know us and for us to know you. So this is your chance to do that.
Awesome. And then also, if this self-care episode kind of prompts you to want to develop a self-care routine to support your healing journey, we'd love to support you in that. There's lots of support. But that's what we do. And, you know, we are available to work one-on-one with you. That is how we make a living. So, you know, this podcast is very much supplemental. And if you want more, you can definitely get more. So DM us on Instagram or through our Facebook group to request information about that. So with that, if you're ready to get started on examining self-care in a breakup, let's dive in.
All right. So first of all, what is self-care? What is self-care for healing? So certainly the definition of self-care is different for everyone. There's no one authority in the world that says what it is. My definition are the activities, routines, and practices that I include in my day and week that prevent me from getting burnt out. I suffer really bad from burnout when I get it. And so I work really hard to prevent it. There are things that I have learned that help, such as getting the right amount of sleep, leaving the house for a certain amount of time each day, often unplugging on the weekends. Not working evenings is a big one for me. Saying no when I'm starting to be spread too thin, taking walks, that type of thing. Some people might say that self-care activities are the activities that help them stay high vibe or fully operational. I like that definition as well.
Yeah.
So when I'm healing from a broken heart or other emotional stress, there are other things that I do to get feeling like myself again. And when I'm coaching someone through a breakup, there are certain things that I encourage my clients to do for self-care that help them turn a corner in their healing. And I recommend these things based on getting to know someone. I don't really have cookie cutter things that I recommend. What about you?
It's definitely not cookie cutter. It really depends on the person. Like if you are someone who's very much stuck in your head and like kind of disconnected from your body, and we can, you know, there's more to it than that. We'll focus on things like getting back into your body, starting to like ground, like calming your nervous system and getting yourself out of that like repetitive thinking mode. Some people will be completely different, and they'll be like very much in their body, and they're just like avoiding making any sense of the breakup at all. They're just feeling it. And in that case, we're going to start like working on more questioning and things like that. So, self-care for me, it looks different than it does for Janice, for sure. We are kind of different. Definitely the walks in the sunlight, we are just plants with complicated emotions. So you do need sunlight, you do need exercise, you do need those things. But for me, working in the evening isn't actually necessarily the worst thing for me. When it's dark outside, I'm like, I would rather be working when it's dark outside and taking time outside in the mornings when I have the most energy, and that really sets off my day. So I'd rather start work late than, end it earlier. So that's just, one example of how people can be different with self-care. One thing we're about to dive into is physical self-care, and part of that is workouts, and like giving your body the exercise you need to function the best. And that is so personal as well because when I was going through my breakup, I went from doing like high impact, heavy weight workouts to like, I just need to walk. Like, I can't even, like, the idea of going to the gym and trying to lift a weight just like made me want to like burst into tears because it
Mm,
was just too hard. Because I felt like just walking around during the day, doing everyday stuff was hard enough, let alone doing a hard workout. So I really transitioned to more like Pilates and just slow walks, getting outside, and really listening to my body in that way. And you may be totally different. Maybe that during a breakup, you find I need to go and get mad and
mhm,
hit something.
mhm,
Like, so yeah, so when you were sharing these tips, there are some things that are like universal, like sunlight, and eating and drinking water that apply to everyone. But then there's a lot of like latitude for listening to your body. And that's really what it's about. If you're going to take anything away, even if you stop the podcast right now, listen to your body. What do you need?
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and certainly it can also can be hard to know what self-care means. If you're in the midst of a breakup, you might just think, well, no, nothing's going to help. I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
So that's one reason why we're here. We have lots of suggestions to guide you in the right direction if that is how you're feeling. So, self-care for breakups. First of all, let's talk about possibly what physical self-care may look like. First
Ooh.
of all, sleep. I would say this is something that is probably going to apply to everyone in this
Yeah.
case. A breakup is a very stressful event in one's life, and stress can take a really big toll on the body, and you might actually require more sleep
Yeah.
when healing from a breakup. So, this definitely means as much as you're enjoying TikTok and other things that you have on your phone that distract you, you do need to put the phone away, shut off the lights, and get some sleep.
Yeah, it's hugely important, and I know it's like we can be using TikTok or Instagram or whatever to be numbing kind of the pain and distracting our
Yeah.
brain, and it feels like when you turn that off, there's suddenly like that silence where you're
Mhm.
alone with your thoughts, and it's
Yes.
awful.
Well,
But
if that's you, I mean, I fall asleep listening to something, which
yeah,
I actually started that, I think, during a breakup several years back
yeah,
because it was weird for me to be at home alone in bed at night. And so, yeah, I started listening to something while I dozed off. And it's a
yeah.
habit that I haven't broken, but you know what? It gets me to sleep. I have to say, I
Yeah.
often have people tell me that I shouldn't talk about it like it's a bad habit since it helps me so much. So,
Yeah, and
whatever.
you know,
Lately, I've been listening to that show Dharma and Greg. It
no, I've never heard
it's
of this.
old. It's from like 2001, and it's just about this couple. One's a hippie, one's a lawyer, and it's just a really cute feel good. show. It's easy to listen to while you doze off.
Wow.
All right. So anyhow, if that helps you. So I also think that it's really important to watch when you sleep.
Yeah.
Something that I know I can definitely relate to is that when I go to sleep late at night and then sleep in, I just often feel like you're already starting the day behind,
Yeah.
you know? And I know that when I'm depressed, when I've struggled with severe depression in the past, I've been the type that will sleep really late, and it just starts kind of a vicious cycle of just feeling like shit, because the day's already passing you by. So
Yeah.
something I always check in with my clients about is what the sleep schedule is. So I think it may be beneficial to get to bed earlier and wake up earlier rather than waking up when people are already several hours into their day. And I know that that's really hard to do when you're depressed and when you're tired, but I would say just try it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the type of thing where you're going to like to reset that sleep schedule.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
you
exactly.
kind of have to have a couple days where you're waking up earlier than is comfortable,
Yeah.
and because otherwise you're not going to be tired at night. I know when you're going through something emotionally, like it can throw everything off. So there's that, but also finding a consistent sleep schedule is so important. I'm a little obsessed with optimizing health and stuff. So I've learned that getting to bed and waking up on a consistent schedule really impacts sleep quality too. So like even if you're getting the quote same amount of hours of sleep, if it's at a different time and your schedule's all over the place, it won't be as good of quality
Hmm.
if as if you just like picked a time and stuck to it. I can't listen to things with plot and stuff when I'm trying to go to sleep, but I have an Alexa. And she likes to, well, she doesn't. I like to ask her to play um rainforest noises. For
Okay.
some reason, rainforest sounds doesn't cue the right track, but if you say rainforest noises,
Hmm.
it goes to the Sleep Sounds app, I think, and it's just like the best track. But she has like hundreds of others because I lost it at one point. I couldn't find what it was. Like it wasn't coming up when I was asking her for it. And so it took me some time to like refind it. And wow, she has like everything. Like even like microwave noises. She's
Microwave.
like, yeah, like when you like put the
What's
microwave on and that low hum, she'll
Oh,
play
okay.
that. Like just the most bizarre, or if you need to sleep with a fan, but you don't have a fan, she can play that. Things like that. It's crazy.
Wow, man, different
Um,
strokes for different folks. I
yeah.
can't even imagine desiring that for a
Yeah,
second.
I
But
know,
I
right?
guess, I mean, it must help a lot of people. That's
Yeah.
fascinating. Okay.
Yeah. And then also Insight Timer has sleep meditations as well. Um,
Yeah,
I
those
personally,
work for some people.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I
Check it
use
out, everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been using this meditation app called Aura, Aura.
Mhm.
And I just really like it because there's like rain noises in the background of everything that Insight Timer doesn't have. But this is a paid app, whereas Insight Timer is free, but you can leave tips if you want. So,
Yeah, free for
um,
now. I mean, they just did this upgrade,
oh
which is
no.
making me wonder if they're going to start charging because it's
I
getting
mean,
good. I,
it
I
makes
love Insight
sense.
so much.
I mean, they've got a great service and,
Yeah,
people have to build that and those
yeah,
people have to be paid. So
yeah.
I get it. Um,
Well, you're doing a
uh,
good job, Insight Timer. You can
yeah.
sponsor us. We'll we'll advertise for you. They're doing this thing now where before you meditate, you do a mood check-in, and I'm really enjoying it. Let's talk about self-care and diet.
All right.
Breakup can leave us feeling really lethargic because of the emotional stress or the shock. So it can find us reaching for foods that give us a quick serotonin boost, such as salty chips, chocolate, fast food. And of course, this can start a vicious cycle and can lead to feeling even worse. Or, which happens to me, you might completely lose your appetite and not want to eat anything. And that too can start a vicious cycle and lead to lots of problems. Trust me, I
Yeah.
know food is essential to your well-being. So it's important to figure out what type of food will make you feel good and do that. This can, you might want to think about how self-care and food works for you. Maybe it's
Mhm.
cooking, maybe it's going out, maybe it's finding things that are easy but healthy. When I was first starting breakup coaching, I wrote this article about food food for breakups, or what to eat during your breakup.
Mhm.
And I did not end up selling it, to my disappointment. But some of the foods that I found are really good for breakups are healthy pre-made soups. So not in the can, the ones that, they're selling in the deli. And that's because they're easy and they're often very full of nutrients. So you might want to try something like that. I know a lot of people really love soup. It's not so much my thing,
No,
but
me neither.
I just, it's not a meal to me, but I know a lot of people really, really love it, and it's warm and it feels good. So maybe think about that. Dark chocolate over other types of sugary snacks, of course, in moderation. Tea over coffee because you don't want to get dehydrated. And like
Well,
we said,
tea
you gotta,
does also dehydrate you, but it does have a lot of antioxidants in it, and so does coffee. But like, y- yeah, I
especially
don't.
in the afternoon. I mean, I would never be the type of person to skip my morning coffee, but in the afternoon, you might want to not have so much caffeine,
Yeah,
possibly, if
it
that's
just
something that's going to affect you.
yeah, like, if you find, I think it's what we're focusing on is that if your eating habits have changed with your diet, these are some things to like look out for. Basically, like, I mean, if you drink too much caffeine of any form, like, you're
Mhm.
going to be jittery and anxious, and it's going to create like more of a problem combined with like already your emotional state of being like kind of really sensitive and like
Yeah, of
sad right
course.
now,
Mhm.
so like, yeah, are if you've had your daily cup of coffee and it hasn't been a problem, like, don't feel like you have to change your coffee to tea. I think it's just if you find that you're swinging wildly towards like ice cream and all of these things, and it's becoming like a daily thing that's a problem that you recognize as a problem. Okay, swap in some dark chocolate instead. It'll give you, especially if you're female, it does affect us
Mhm.
differently than
Yeah.
men. Um, so it'll give you some of the same good feelings, but without like the negative side effects that come in when you're doing too much of it. So I don't want this to become like something where we're introducing like restrictive eating patterns if it's not a problem for you. But if it is, um these are some ideas, right? Is that correct?
Yeah. Okay. So another thing that I came up with is, especially if you don't feel like cooking or you don't feel like preparing anything for yourself, salmon with some easy sides is
Oh
easy to
yeah.
do. And also it just is good. It tastes
It's
good. And
so
so
good.
you're
It's my favorite meal.
you're going to be definitely having a bit of self-care there, just because you're going to be able to make something that's fast, but
Mhm.
also that is very satisfying to eat. And let's try not to skip breakfast. If you can scramble yourself some eggs, that gives you a bit of vitamin D and brain food, and it's a good way to start your day.
Yeah.
So just some ideas if you're finding that eating is an issue for you during your breakup. Ooh, and then check out episode 32, Heal Your Heart, Heal Your Gut with Patty. She talks about eating nutritiously during
Mhm.
times of healing, and her journey with a breakup and learning about the healing power of food.
Yeah, that was such a good episode.
Mhm.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So next up, time to grieve. So this is important, guys. You've got a window of time after your breakup when the emotions are super close to the surface, and you may find yourself wanting to cry or unleash onto the people around you. And this is often because we tend to only allow ourselves like a very short window of time to grieve. And we don't allow ourselves that proper, like, let it all out, get messy grieving process.
Mhm.
And so if you are finding that you're not really letting yourself have that grieving process, or you're trying band-aid tactics like going immediately onto the apps and distracting yourself with something new, like, just know that can lead you down a really bad path, because I've been there, I've done this.
Yeah.
I'm It's no secret that, like, this journey to being a coach for me started with, like, a breakup with a 5-year long-term, like, engagement.
Mhm.
um and then immediately jumping into a super intense short relationship, and then when that ended, I was left really with the grief of two people, and that
Yeah.
was very confusing because it was like, who am I gonna feel sad about today?
Mhm.
Like, it was just like every day I'd be grieving either of the people, and it was very confusing, and I felt like a shitty person. So, like, obviously I've come a really long way from that. And that was the inspiration for becoming a coach, because I'm like, I could have saved myself so much heartache if I had had someone on my team who was like, maybe
Yeah.
don't do that.
Mhm.
That could be a bad idea. So yeah, if we neglect to really recognize and deal with your true feelings after a crisis, they're going to resurface later. You have to process it. You just get to choose when. And I would rather do it right now during, you know, a time of your life when it actually happens instead of later. Like, I often talk about, like, your bucket of grief. Like, you're either going to carry that around until you decide to deal with it, or you can start to process it a little bit at a
Mhm.
time. So, yeah, whether it's tears, anger, frustration, I urge you to find a way to really sink into your feelings and let themselves out for the next few weeks, even a couple months. There's not really like a time limit. And I think that is something that has to happen,
Yeah,
you know?
and it can definitely be a form of self-care if you need
Yeah.
to wallow in it for a little while. You might find out that it ends up feeling really good.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're gonna make it through it.
Yep.
So do it sooner rather than later, because you're going to get through it. You
Hmm.
have to get through it. Let's do it now.
Yes. And a couple episodes that can help you process emotions are episode 23, The Healing Power of Crying, episode 26, Journaling with Janice, episode 29, Let's Talk Rituals. I think a ritual could be a great form of self care after a breakup. So we give a lot of ideas in that episode about designing your own breakup ritual.
Yeah.
So, before we get on with self care and breakups, shall we take a short break to let our audience know about one of our podcast buddies? What do you think, Claire?
Let's do it.
Okay. Unhinged and Bumbled Up. This great dating podcast is hosted by two Brits from across the pond who love to chat about what it's like out there. Phil and Jane come together at least once a week to chat about surviving the dating life, finding someone to click with for a night or a lifetime, dealing with some relationship pitfalls, and navigating the tricky world of looking for something, all with a lot of laughs along the way and games and fun chats. I love this podcast
Yes.
so much.
It's
It
great.
is so fun to listen to and is absolutely great for your moving on journey. Go give them a listen and some love wherever you listen to podcasts.
Awesome.
Okay, let's move on. Social media and self care. This might be the key to your healing. For some, one of the most vital action to take is also the hardest, and that is turning off your social media.
Oof.
We talk about it a lot, and I know from personal experience and speaking with people almost every day that people find this very, very, very difficult to do. I got a DM just today about social media and my advice on staying away from it. And look, as hard as it is, you can, you know, sometimes you just got to take the leap and do it. I
Yeah.
recommend deactivating your accounts. I know that that is really difficult and people might find it unfathomable, but I have done it and I know that it really, really helped me. I've talked about a lot on this show that after my last breakup, I deactivated Facebook for a few weeks. And partially it was because my ex was in my same social network. And I don't know. I just felt like it was too stressful. We had posted lots of pictures of ourselves on
Yeah.
Facebook, and I just thought it just was something I didn't want in my life for a while. I didn't want to know what he was doing because of seeing what our other friends were doing. And yeah, I deactivated it and it helped a ton. You know, you don't need to get up the courage to do it. Just open your phone and do it and deal with the consequences later. And if you don't want to deactivate, please, please, please block your ex from all of your accounts. Remember, so-called social media stalking leads to nothing that is going to help you during your breakup.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, I get that if you had a lot of shared friends, like sometimes pictures of them are just going to come up. And so what I advise my clients in that circumstance is to use the mute feature. It's definitely
Yeah.
a thing on Instagram. I'm pretty sure it is on Facebook.
Yes.
Um, also not a lot of, I don't know. People are living more on Instagram, I feel like. In
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's different. I think I've noticed that my Australian friends tend to be on Facebook more than my American friends. But
Yeah.
certainly, yes, you can mute on both. I
Yeah.
love the mute. I have
Yeah.
so many people muted
But
for
yeah,
various reasons.
exactly. But mute them, mute your mutual friends as well, at
Yes.
least for the next few months.
Yeah.
That way you're not like, surprised by pictures of them just like popping up on your feed. You can when you're muting someone, you're not unfollowing them, you're not blocking them, you're not doing any of that. So if you are really invested in keeping up on someone's life, one of your friends who
Uh-huh.
happens to be mutual,
Mhm.
you can be like, all right, I'm gonna go to their profile. There's a chance I might see my ex, but I'm, hoping not to, but at least you're prepared. It's not like you're scrolling and everything's fine and
Yeah.
then boom, there they are and you're reeling.
Yep.
So yeah, so use that mute button, uh what's the word? Generously. Um
For sure. I still think you should probably delete or block your ex, but yeah, mute everybody else. I would say that this is the number one thing that I see holding people back are these damn social media accounts. And it hurts my heart a bit because it doesn't have to be this way.
Yeah. And
It
it's
really
something that
doesn't.
only really our like generation has had to deal with
Yeah.
breakups,
Mhm.
like our parents didn't have, they could just never see their ex again and and that
Mhm.
would be it. Um, Social media, it gets you in multiple different ways. Like there's not just like watching their feed or story or going to their profile or seeing them come up. There's also like when you post a story, you see who's watching your story.
Yeah.
And I have clients who are like, I watch for their name to pop up, and
Oh,
sometimes it
God.
does, and that sucks, and sometimes it doesn't, and that
Yeah.
also sucks.
Mhm.
So, think about how you will feel with each eventuality, and I guarantee whether they're watching or not, it's not a good feeling. So just do the
Yeah.
mute
Mhm.
and like
Pe-
remove that reminder of them or block them if you
yeah.
can do that. That's better.
Hmm. I think you might want to ask yourself what you're holding on to if you're, refusing to do the blocking, because, people talk to me about how much pain seeing the photos puts them in, but then they think that it's too drastic of a step to delete or block. And I think if
Yeah.
you look inside and, you might want to explore with a coach what that's really about. And, I've never seen a case where this did not help. I also think when it comes to social media and a breakup, that sometimes when you're depressed and you're on social media and you're seeing what other people are doing and other people, at least appearing quite happy and, living their best life, that can be a little challenging also when you're feeling depressed.
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
was one reason why I deactivated my Facebook account, is obviously people post mostly the good stuff, and it just,
Yeah.
I've seen other people happy was uh, making my depression
Yeah,
worse.
and you're
And
in your
so,
grief process and you're like,
yeah,
"Wow, I've just been sitting on my couch,
yeah,
now I feel
exactly.
even worse about
Mm-hmm.
myself." And it's like, "No,
Mm-hmm.
this is your season
Yeah.
that you're in." They on the outside seem to be in a different season, but that's also not
Very true. It's very
generally.
hard to tell yourself that when you're depressed. So
Yeah.
if you deactivate your accounts, they're still there. You can turn them back on. I think that this is, yeah, as hard as it seems, I think that you might find that the social media break is one of the best acts of self-care that you can do. If you want more help with social media, please check out episode 11. Damn, that was a long time ago. Social media after a breakup.
Next up is saying no. You're like, what? What is this? Yes, saying no is a form of self care. What does that mean? It means you're considering your needs before the needs of some random person, someone you know, or external commitments that are asking for your time. I don't mean becoming super self centered and being like, I don't give a shit about anyone else. No,
Yes,
like there's a way to do this and be a good person. Don't
definitely.
worry. You
Hmm.
can say no and still be a good person. I
Hmm.
think that's one of the main concerns
Yeah,
is
yeah. Especially if you're
yeah.
saying no like ahead of time rather
Yeah.
than saying yes to something and then flaking out because you're down in the
Yeah.
dumps.
It would be
Hmm.
better to say no off the bat and be like, "You know what? I don't know if I'll have the emotional bandwidth or the energy for that.
Yep.
Like, I would love to help you out another time."
Hmm.
Rather than saying yes because you say bad and then having like a breakdown and being like, "I can't do it. I can't
Hmm.
do it." And then that person gets let down.
Yeah,
A lot
yeah.
of times I find, because this was a hard practice for me too, a lot of times I find that it's so scary to say no, and then when you do, people are just like, "Oh, okay," and they figure something else out. Like,
Hmm.
and they
Yeah.
didn't care as much. I mean, they care, like, obviously they want you in their life and everything, but it wasn't like this, you know, big deal that you thought it would be.
Mm.
Yeah, so you can say no to something. It's optional and instead spend time doing something that's going to feed into your own well-being.
Yeah.
And this might mean saying no to an invitation or a commitment so you can rest.
Yeah.
You can say no just to do nothing. So
Yep,
and
absolutely. I
yeah.
think trying to limit your work commitments, possibly social, just obligations in general, for the few weeks after your breakup is a really, really good thing. And also remember, and this is a bad, or this is a hard habit for some people to get into, but remembering that when you say no, you don't need to give, a complex explanation or a story or an excuse, or
Yeah.
and the easier that it becomes to say no, you'll find that you're able to make yourself a priority a lot easier as well. So I
Yeah.
know sometimes, I think when people just say no, they think they have to have, this grand
A
explanation for
reason.
it, or like a list of reasons, and you don't really.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, another way to think about it is when you do this, you are showing your friends and the people around you that they can also say no to you
Yeah.
and no explanation or excuse needed for them.
Yeah.
And I think that's really beautiful. Like it goes both ways, okay?
Yeah.
So, as you do this and it's tough at first, be like, I'm showing them that this is okay for them to do too. Because you wouldn't if your friend said that they couldn't hang out one time or something, you wouldn't be like, "Oh my god, the friendship is over." You know? Like you'd be like, "Okay, and figure something else out for that day." You know?
Mhm.
So, if you're feeling bad when you say no to people, you may want to pay attention to that feeling and ask why as well. Like, why aren't you more comfortable putting your well-being above the wants of others? And that might be socialization and your parents modeling
Mm.
and just
Yeah.
what you've learned through being a person in society. And so I get it. It's going to be hard. Um, but we can start to change these dynamics. And you can start to condition yourself to be different. So.
I can certainly say you can. Another form of self-care that Claire and I have both talked about that we would urge you to try, this might change your life, is moving your body, especially if you're having a hard time thinking about what self-care might look like for you. Try taking a walk outside.
Yeah.
Walking helps to produce the hormones you need to bounce back, serotonin and dopamine. A nice stroll is guaranteed to give you at least a temporary boost, and it won't leave you with a hangover afterwards. It's
Yeah.
such a great practice to get into. Besides the initial release of hormones, extra movement will probably help you sleep better
Yep.
and will help with those crazy periods of monkey mind that can follow a breakup.
Yes.
I have read a study that found those struggling with mental health issues experience the most significant results in their healing when spending time outside doing exercise
Yeah.
or spending time doing, what do they call it? Green, what does this article say?
Green bathing? Like
Green
forest bathing?
exercise. Green
Ooh.
exercise is an activity in the presence of nature. Evidence shows it leads to positive short and long-term health outcomes. That's
All
from the
right.
study that I found. I know that it has been a game changer for me. It helps you process things for sure. I know sometimes when I struggle with racing thoughts after something like a breakup or uh, issues with my family, getting outside and walking while I kind of process things helps to
Yes.
like move it through my body. And,
Yeah.
sometimes it helps to think about things and process them. And I just find for whatever reason, when I'm doing it outside while walking, it tends to leave me quicker.
Yeah.
And of course, sunlight. You want to
Yes.
talk about this?
Yeah. So, like I said earlier, you are a houseplant with complicated emotions. You need sunlight. You need to get outside. And I think it's like so easy not to nowadays. Like we have so much entertainment inside. We
Yeah.
work inside. We do like our
Record our
daily
podcast.
activities inside. Yeah, so you do need sun. If it's the dead of winter and you live somewhere where there's like literally no sunlight and it's just like you can't go outside, maybe look into red light devices or other lights specifically made for
Uh-huh.
seasonal affective disorder that can really help. Like, it's amazing what these small little details that we take for granted can do for us.
That's true.
Um,
I started recently sleeping with my shades open so that the sunlight wakes me
Ah,
up. And I love it. I really
yeah.
love it. It helps me wake up and it just kind of puts me in a cheery mood to have the sun
Yeah.
as soon as I wake up in the morning. So get out there and walk, everyone. I actually have this as part of my coaching programs is to, having people commit to a certain amount of walks per week.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think it'll help.
Also, moving your body is really, really important for processing emotions just in general. It's not just releasing all these feel-good chemicals. Um, if you are a avid reader, I highly recommend reading The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk. I did the best I could with his name. I think I did it.
Hmm.
But it is incredibly interesting, and it's really, really cool to learn about the research saying that um basically when you're put in a situation where there's like intense emotions, by having control through movement. So like if like the breakup happened and you're feeling really hurt by that, um you weren't able to do anything in the moment, but you can, as you process, like do the things that your body felt like it needed in that moment, but wasn't like socially acceptable or something.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's really pretty incredible. It's definitely in the context of trauma and pretty bad things happening to people. But I think it does apply to breakups as well.
I have another book I would like to recommend that talks about the exact same concept, and
Ooh,
it's called Maps to Ecstasy by Gabrielle Roth. I'm reading it right now for the second time. She's the founder of Five Rhythms Dancing, and she talks about how you can process emotions through different types of movement as well, and
yeah.
different like rhythms of dance.
Oh my
I'm
gosh,
shaking my
yes.
hands because when I started doing Five Rhythms Dancing, sometimes I would find that I would shake during certain songs,
Yes.
trying to kind of get out anger and frustration. And something I actually still do. That's why I'm reading the book again, because I dance a lot at
Yeah.
home,
Oh
and
my
I wanted
gosh.
to get a refresher on how it works with processing emotions, and it does.
Yeah. And shaking is so important. Like if you watch any animal that like on Nat Geo, right? The antelope gets away from the lion. It shakes afterwards to like
Mm.
dispel all that adrenaline and
Uh-huh.
everything that it needed to get away. But if it continued to be in that state of fight or flight and didn't like shake it off,
Uh-huh.
it'd be really damaging to that animal. But we don't do that. So maybe try just shaking your body. It's actually something I'm seeing more and more.
Yeah.
People purposely shaking
Mhm.
to dispel those feelings and stuff. So really
So
interesting.
walk, dance, get it out of your body.
Yeah.
There's lots of really great playlists on Spotify that I use when I want to dance. So you might find that you got a new self-care practice, maybe a little ritual. So I like to dance at night. So more breakup self-care. How about leaving town, going on a little road trip? A weekend road trip is a really fun way to distract yourself from grief, enjoy the moment, move around a bit, have a fun experience that doesn't involve your ex, AKA start a great life without them, new memories.
Yeah.
I am such a big fan of the weekend road trip or just the weekend day trip, either alone or with maybe one other friend. I think it's a wonderful thing to do after a breakup. So, are there any places within 2 hours of your home that you've never explored? You only need a day to do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So perhaps, something I did with one of my clients recently was make a list of all of these places and then just pick something once the weekend comes up. I think the weekends can be kind of daunting for some people who are going through a breakup, and if you already have the list handy, you can just pick something and kind of make yourself do it, rather than sitting around thinking that you don't have anything to do because you're down in the dumps and you're not feeling
Yeah.
creative about coming up with something. Or you can just go a few towns over and spend the day, just kind of hang
Yeah.
out. I like doing that as well.
Yeah.
You can also make a Google Maps list of all the best places to shop, all the best places to eat. Um, think about all the things that make a town special. Start exploring. I
Yeah.
have a list on my Google Maps probably like 30 places long of things I want to do here in Denver. And it is really handy on the weekends. And I'm not
Yeah.
even going through a breakup. So,
Yeah.
and it's fun to do too, to add to your list.
Yeah, and it reminds you how big the world is and how many other people are in it. To like get outside of your normal stomping grounds and be like, "Oh, wow. The world is huge."
Yeah.
And that can just be really optimistic as you're going through a breakup and perhaps thinking thoughts like there's no one else out there for me, or
That's a good point.
there's no one gonna be as hot as him. Like, I guarantee it, there's always someone hotter than him. um,
Absolutely.
but yeah, I mean, anyways, so up next, breakup trophy.
Ta-da!
I love it. This is an idea that Janice definitely introduced to me. So picking up a breakup trophy can be a great way to keep yourself motivated, to stay positive, stay no contact, and treat yourself. So it's like this positive reinforcement for yourself.
Mhm.
It's a prize or a gift that you give yourself to celebrate how far you've come and celebrate winning after your breakup. So it can be a great form of self-care during a breakup because it gives you the opportunity to practice giving yourself gifts.
Yeah.
Like, I think one of the things that people um like, especially I guess women, perhaps I'm thinking this is going to be more of a woman thing, is like getting flowers. It's like, oh, well, I never get flowers, unless I'm in a relationship. But hey, you can actually buy yourself flowers.
Absolutely. I do it all the time.
Yeah. So that can be like a small, like, weekly breakup trophy, is like making sure you always have fresh flowers in the house.
Yeah.
Um, Candles, like fun things like that. Like, it can be anything. I like when I travel, this is like kind of related, but when I travel, I don't like getting like the touristy type memorabilia, I guess. But instead I'll get something that I will definitely use like at least once a month. And that way I always get reminded of that place. Like, I have a pair of boots that are my London boots, and I think
Hmm.
about London every time I wear my
I
boots.
like that. That's oh yeah, shoes from each city you travel. I
Yeah.
can get on board with that.
Oh, totally. So, yeah, so it's just like fun things like that. If it brings a smile to your face right now, it's worth doing. So, yeah, it could be a spa day, a new pair of boots, like I said, new set of headphones, getting yourself a fancy trip. So, like, getting yourself that cruise or something that you've been looking forward to, that maybe until this moment you thought you had to wait for someone to do it with you. Nah, do it on your own. Oh, listen to our episode with Kelly on solo travel. I
Yeah.
think it's only a few before this one. I don't know the exact
Solo
number.
travel with Kelly.
72,
Mhm. Yeah, I
71,
think it
something
was.
in there.
Mhm.
Okay. So, yeah, check that out. It could be taking yourself on a dinner to that fancy place in town you've always wanted to try. New bedding. I am a big proponent of getting new sheets and new
Mhm.
bedding after a breakup. Um, yeah. So, also, continuing on that theme, but we're listing it as something different, is what feels good to you. Do that. Do that. So,
Yeah.
make a list of the things you love and keep it handy for those days when you feel really low and have a hard time getting out of your head. So,
Yeah.
a self care list could include a short list of people you know who you can always contact if you need support, a list of foods that you love to eat but also love you back and
Yeah.
make you feel good
Mhm.
in return, a list of the activities you know will always make you feel a bit better. So, like a walk, a bath, that sort of thing, going
Mhm.
to the movies, places you love to go alone. That can be a big one. Shows or movies that always tend to lift your mood. Highly recommend Palm Springs. I will get everyone in the world to watch this movie by the time I die. So
It is a good movie. Very
just
happy,
I
happy
got
movie.
Janice to watch it. So
Yeah, she did. I'm very hesitant to ever watch anything new that anyone recommends to
I
me, but
know.
I did watch it. It's a movie, in case anyone's wondering. You can stream it on Hulu. Definitely cute, for sure, for sure.
It's adorable.
And my go-to is, well, I have two for breakups. Queer Eye on Netflix is the happiest show. I love
Yes.
them so much. And
And
Grace and
Grace and
Frankie,
Frankie.
because it's just goofy.
I
And
love
it
it.
has to do with a breakup. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. That show makes me laugh so hard. And I just think it's happy. It's a
It's
happy
funny.
show.
I'm
Mm,
only 2 episodes in because I don't watch TV that often, so it takes
mm.
me a while, but man, it is such a good
Good
recommendation.
actors. It's yeah, it just makes you laugh. And I also
Yeah.
think it's not real, and so it doesn't get you thinking about your own life very much.
What? It's not real?
It's just so goofy.
Oh.
And yeah, I mean, girl power too, Jane
Mhm.
Fonda. Netflix, or Queer Eye on Netflix has a new season starting New Year's
Yay!
Eve. I'm so excited.
Awesome.
Love you guys. So this list is something that maybe you could make in your journal and that you can just keep handy for the low days. I took a self-care
Yeah.
class a couple of years back. One of my friends was running it. I took it to support her, and this was something I learned that I really liked. She had us all do this for one of the modules, and I thought it was clever. Oh, so if you are having a hard time coming up with anything for this list, if you're just thinking that sounds impossible, I would recommend doing a short meditation and letting the answers kind of come to you. I think
Mhm.
sometimes when you're listening to a podcast episode or when you're in the midst of a breakup, you can think some of this is just not accessible to you because nothing's coming to you right away.
Yeah.
Well, quiet the mind and see what
Yeah.
comes.
And if you're like, "Oh my God, a meditation," try going for a walk instead, because
Yeah,
sometimes like a moving meditation, because
yeah, you
that's
could do
what
that.
walking is. Like my best ideas come to me when I'm moving. So like just going for a walk, your brain, it just it for me that's like the key. So yeah. All right.
So let's talk about another self-care idea that might help you during your breakup. And this is a little related. It's kind of a combination of some things we've already talked about, but this is something I started last year, and that is the wellness weekend. And that
Woo!
is when you don't just take the weekend off of work and, do your errands, watch some TV, go out to dinner. You dedicate the entire weekend to pure wellness and to spoiling yourself and to just completely soaking up these 2 days. I did this for the first time, I think about a year ago, because I was experiencing some really crazy burnout. And so I came up with this concept, and I think I've done it twice since. And I always enjoy it. I've come up with some rules for the wellness weekend. So of course, this is just me, but if if this helps to inspire you, go with it. So first of all, everything has to be slow. I can't keep too strict of a schedule. I sleep in, I don't put time restrictions on things. I am typically not a person who likes to be rushed, even on my best days.
Yeah.
So I just go really, really easy. I do just what feels good. If something just doesn't light me up and get me excited, I cancel it. I don't do it, even if I thought I was going to be into it. You think that something sounds good and that you want to do it, but then you get to your wellness weekend and you're not excited, I cancel it. I keep plans really, really loose. If I do decide to do something, I give myself a huge window of time for doing it. I read and rest a lot. I love to read. I love to rest. And so I make sure that I give myself plenty of time for all of that. I typically stay in bed reading until 10 or 11 on my wellness weekends and eat, drink, and be merry. I like to go out to
Yeah.
fancy restaurants. I like to have some craft cocktails because that for me is self-care and being indulgent. That's going to maybe be different for other people, but those are my wellness weekend rules.
Awesome. I love that.
It could be
All
a
right.
really good way to jumpstart your healing if you're going through a breakup. You might want to schedule one of these in. Let me know how it goes.
All right. So I recommend think about what you loved doing as a kid. Um, this typically comes up for people who are like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I
Yeah.
like. Like, I always just do what everyone else is doing. What did you do as a kid? Rediscover those old passions. Like, nothing is too silly or childish. You're basically a kid with grown-up money now. Like, let's still do kid stuff and have a really good time doing it. Reconnect with that joyful part of you. Everything doesn't have to be personal development or income producing. Like, you can do stuff just for the fun of it. You don't even have to be good at it. If it makes you happy, then do it. It could mean like picking up the violin again. You're like, I'm never going to do this in public, but I love just like playing with it and I can play two things and that's it and it sucks, but I love it. Do it. Like, you don't have to be like, "Oh, I'm going to pick up the violin and become like a prodigy, an adult prodigy
Mhm.
at the violin." No, just do it for fun. Um, just find those things that over the years you were taught were not something you should be doing, that weren't like worthwhile and dropped off at some point. Like, I don't know, maybe you liked designing clothes for your Barbies and stuff. Take like a fashion design class or something. Like,
Mhm.
there's lots of ways to reconnect with who you were before you were told who you were supposed to be.
Yeah, I
So,
think something for me is that I kind of reconnected with was, museums and bookstores and libraries. I used to love
yeah.
going to the library when I was a kid, and walking around a library is very
Yeah.
relaxing to me. But I definitely something that I stopped doing for a long time. So I think
Yeah.
that's really good advice. I think that's also really good advice for a breakup if you are thinking that you're lonely and that you want to get back into a partnership because you don't like spending time alone. I think reconnecting with yourself and what you like doing as a child could be really therapeutic.
Another tip, find meaning. So this is huge. Like, I mean, I think that finding meaning is one of the most important things we can do as a human. And the great thing about it, and the tough thing about it, is that there is no right answer. So you get to decide what your meaning, what your purpose is. So, like, this is not just like why the breakup happened. I'm talking about like you personally, with or without a partner, what is your meaning? Because your meaning cannot just be your ex. Like, no, you
Yeah.
have more than that. Even if you think right now you don't, you definitely do. So, this could mean volunteering in something that you're passionate about. Visit the elderly in assisted living, like experiment, try things and see what clicks and gives you that, like, oh, this is it. So, if you're volunteering with the elderly, like, their stories might help give you perspective while you keep them company. Pet therapy is hugely beneficial, so you can be getting the benefits of pet therapy while also giving back to a shelter. Walking dogs or brushing cats at the shelter may be the thing for you. You can even foster a pet so your house doesn't feel so lonely. The great thing about fostering is you're generally trying to find that dog a home as well. So it means like, hey, if you're going to foster this dog, we want you going to pet friendly breweries on the weekend and talking to strangers about how great this dog is. And you're going to meet people doing that as well. And it's just a way to get yourself out of your house because you're doing it for this animal. it's a little easier to do if you're struggling to find that motivation for yourself. So
Mhm.
maybe this means it's time for you to go build schools in low income communities or become more involved in human rights issues. Like getting outside of yourself can be self care
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. I mean, if it makes you feel good, then
Yeah.
absolutely. I volunteer here at the Molly Brown House in town. And that, yeah, I would definitely say it's self-care for me because something I enjoy. And I even take time off work sometimes to do it. And it gets me excited, and yeah, it gets me out of the house. I've met really good friends. So yeah, find out what that is for you and do it. I would, if you are going through a breakup and you pick up something like this, a volunteer job, I would love to know. That would make
Yeah.
me very excited to hear about.
Yes.
So, self-care and breakups. What if you commit to just doing one thing a day? If you are still thinking none of this resonates with me, I have no idea how I'm going to get out of this hole that I'm in, I think that one thing a day is applicable to you. I think it's applicable to everyone, maybe breakup or no breakup. Can you commit to taking just 5 minutes each morning to think, either do a meditation or think about setting an intention for the day, and one thing that you can do for yourself to promote your healing? So, I mean, I would say that you might not even need 5 minutes. Just take a moment to set an intention for your day. And yeah, like I said, think of just one thing that you can do. So it might be the walk, it might be reaching out to a friend, it might be buying yourself something on Amazon, or doing your laundry. Even, maybe you haven't done your
Yeah.
laundry and that's making you feel like shit. Is that, something that you can do that will make you feel better? Who knows?
Yeah.
Remember, you don't have to do it all at once. You can just do one thing a day, or take one moment out of a day to set an intention for either your day or your healing. Healing is a process that takes time, and it builds on itself. Also, I think that it can feel daunting to people to think that you have to heal, you have to, take on all of this. And it doesn't. It's one day at a time. And it does take effort. That's another reason we're doing this episode, is self-care and healing takes intention and effort. Using your breakup as a new beginning takes being proactive about the creation of this new chapter in your life. It doesn't write itself. You get to write it. If you can
Mhm.
decide to do just one thing a day to care for your heart, or get one baby step closer to moving on, you will be amazed at what you can create over time.
Yeah. Seriously. So, to finish up here, are you ready to up your self-care game? Yes.
Woo!
So that was our self-care episode. That was definitely like a boom boom boom, like way going through all the different avenues that self-care can be found for yourself. If this was a great introduction but you want more, like as we mentioned, we would love to support you. Please be in touch if you'd like to learn about breakup coaching. This in your itself could be a form of self-care, as there's just,
Absolutely.
yeah, there's no greater
Mhm.
investment than investing in yourself.
Yep.
And yeah, it's been incredible to help people through this, and just trust yourself on this. It's always worth it. If you're feeling called to do it, it's always worth it. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it definitely helps. It gives you someone to talk to. It gives you someone to be accountable to for some of this. It gives you ideas.
Yeah.
I got a text over the weekend from one of my clients who says, I haven't looked all weekend, at the social media,
Yay.
and she wanted to tell me. And yeah, it's really helpful. Not everyone is the person that you can text and say that to, and
Yeah.
have them be really excited for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, please be in touch with us. We'll help you develop a self-care plan that's custom for you and your experience.
Yeah. Awesome. And did this episode help? Like, please let us know. We would love for you to show us some love and the circle of love. Ah, oh my God, why is it falling apart now? Okay.
What is wrong?
Something's wrong with me. All right, end of the week. This is it. 1 hour into the week.
Yeah.
Okay. Did this episode help? We'd love for you to show us some love by leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts. It gives us the warm fuzzies, and it also helps others find the show. And as always, we're not too cool to talk to you in our DMs, although they are quite busy now. So if it takes us a little bit, just know we're not too cool. We're doing a lot of stuff right now.
Well, if you want to connect with us, join the Facebook group, Breakups,
Yes.
Broken Hearts, and Moving On. You can get support from other members there as well. And if you want to, if you do want to leave us a DM, you could also say that you'd like us to, maybe discuss it on the show.
Yeah.
And we'll be in touch. And yeah, like Claire said, if you just want to tell us how, much this helped, if you leave a review, that
it's so huge.
It helps us, and it also lets us know you loved it.
Yeah, and we'll send you a sticker and a
thank you. We're still doing that. If anyone who leaves us a review, send me a DM with a screenshot of the review and your address, and I'll send you a thank you card in the mail with some X-Files stickers.
Awesome. Well, we love you guys, and we'll talk to your ears very soon.
Bye. Good luck out there. Thank you for listening to X-Files, a podcast about breakups, broken hearts, and moving on.
If you liked this episode, please help others find us by leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or by following the show on Spotify.
And if you'd like to connect more with us or learn about breakup coaching, find us on Instagram at X-Files Podcast.